So today I'll tell you about what is the difference between breathing and respiration, and then move further. So before starting it, let's know about the two types of reaction. They are the catabolic and the anabolic reaction. So let's take example of photosynthesis and respiration. The respiration is a type of catabolic reaction and the photosynthesis is a type of anabolic reaction. Why is it so? Because in the catabolic reaction, energy is released. You know that in the respiration process, the energy is released. That's why it is a catabolic reaction. And in the photosynthesis, you have seen that the solar energy is used up. That's why photosynthesis is known as anabolic reaction. So for this reaction, that is, we are talking about catabolic reaction, the cells continuously use oxygen. So this oxygen has to be provided to the cells, and this will happen by the process called the breathing. So what do you understand by breathing? Breathing is a physical process and which involve only the inhalation and the exhalation of the air in and out of your lungs. You have studied in chemistry that in a physical process no new substance is formed. So it is same here also in the breathing, no new substance is formed. But in the respiration, a new substance is formed, and the new substance is your carbon dioxide, water and your energy. So that's why this respiration is termed as a chemical process, right? So here in this respiration, the oxygen is carried in your blood to the cells around your body where the respiration takes place. So you can see here the respiration is taking place in your cells. That's why respiration is also known as cellular respiration. And here in the cells, the oxygen is used to break down the glucose, and by the breakdown of glucose, the energy is released. That's why respiration is a catabolic reaction. Is it clear? Let's move ahead. Here is the difference between the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration. So let me tell you about in brief that what the difference between the aerobic and the anaerobic. Aerobic means the reactions which are the respiration which is taking place in the presence of oxygen, and in anaerobic this respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. So this is the main difference. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen and anaerobic takes place in the absence of oxygen. So here is the difference. In the anaerobic respiration, the reactants are glucose, and in aerobic the reactants are glucose as well as the oxygen. In anaerobic, incomplete combustion takes place. In aerobic, there is a complete combustion. Anaerobic respiration yields very low energy, that is around 2 ATP molecules. Aerobic respiration yields a high energy, that is around 36 to 38 ATP. Product formed in this case are the lactic acid and the ethanol and the carbon dioxide. You have seen while running, you have seen that there are cramps in your muscles. That cramps are because of the formation of lactic acid, because while you are running there is a deficiency of oxygen in your cells, and due to which a lactic acid is formed in your muscles which causes cramping. Okay, and in yeast also the anaerobic respiration takes place which yields ethanol and carbon dioxide. This reaction is also called as fermentation. In the aerobic respiration, the products are carbon dioxide, water and as well as the energy. Location means where they takes place. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell, and aerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm as well as the powerhouse of the cell, that is mitochondria. Stages which causes anaerobic respiration are glycolysis and fermentation. And in aerobic respiration, these all are the 4 stages: glycolysis, link reaction, Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. So these reactions I will discuss further in this course. Now is it clear what is the difference? Anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen. Okay. Now let us discuss about a very important system, human respiratory system. So the human respiratory system is divided into two major components. They are the conducting portion and the exchanging portion. So let's discuss about the conducting portion. So this conducting portion, it is a passage for the air, and this portion, conducting portion, helps to clear the air from the foreign particles. It humidifies that air and brings that air to your body temperature. And this portion starts from your nostrils and end till the terminals of the bronchioles. These all are the organs which helps in the conduction. Starting from the nostril, they are the two openings of your nose. The inside we have a nasal chamber. You see this diagram. These are your nostrils opening, and then we have a nasal cavity, also known as nasal chamber, and then nasal cavity opens into a nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is a part of your pharynx. It is the upper part of your pharynx. Then we have a voice box called larynx. Okay, here we have a voice box from where we can produce our sound. Then larynx continues to form your trachea, which is made up of your cartilage, and this trachea further divided into primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi. Okay, these bronchi divided into branches. First branch is known as primary, right? Then again we have secondary, then we have tertiary bronchi. At the end of the bronchi we have small tube-like structures called the bronchioles. Bronchioles are then further forms a balloon-like structure called alveoli, right? So if you observe this diagram, you will see these all are the alveoli, balloon-like structure here. So this is about your conducting portion. These all are the organs which help in your passage of the air. Next is your exchanging portion, which include alveoli and the ducts. So this is the actual site of the diffusion of oxygen and the CO2 between your blood and the atmospheric air, right? So these alveoli and the ducts forms your exchanging portion where the main exchange of gases takes place. Your lungs are made up of bronchi, bronchioles and the alveoli. So means all these three makes your lungs. This is clear. So the lungs are comprises of bronchi, bronchioles and the alveoli. These are the triangular bags lie in your thoracic cavity. This is your thoracic cavity which contains, not exactly contains, which is enclosed dorsally by your thoracic vertebrae. You know that the backbone is there at the back. The backbone which lie in the thoracic cavity is known as thoracic vertebrae, and in the front we have a bone that is known as sternum, and laterally we have a ribs. So this thoracic cavity is enclosed dorsally by the thoracic vertebrae, laterally by the ribs, and in front we have a bone that is sternum, and below there is a dome-shaped structure that is known as your diaphragm. These lungs are protected by a protective coat called pleurae. Okay, this is a membrane surrounding your lungs which protects your lungs. So let us discuss about pleurae. So your lungs is enclosed in two membranes called a pleura or a pleurae, singular or plural it is, and outer membrane is known as parietal pleura, which is held to the thoracic wall. See this is the parietal pleura, outer membrane, outer layer, which is attached to the thoracic wall, and inner membrane is the visceral pleura. This is the inner membrane which is bound to the surface of your lungs. Okay, so two layers are there, outer parietal layer and inner visceral layer, and in between these two layers there is a pleural cavity which is filled by a fluid called a pleural fluid. Okay, here we can see this is pleural cavity which contains a pleural fluid, and at the base we have a diaphragm which helps in respiration. Is it clear? Let's move further. Here are some external features of the lungs. Observe this image. This is the left side of the lung. which has two lobes. This is the superior lobe and this is the inferior lobe. And in between the two lobes there is a separation, and that separation is by a oblique fissure. Okay, this is in oblique in shape, that's why we call it oblique fissure. And you will observe here is a notch, right? This notch, this is known as cardiac notch. Here our heart lies. This lung, that is the left side of the lung, is quite longer and narrower than the right lung, but right lung is bigger than this, right? This is bigger in size. And this side, that is the right lung, is divided into three parts by three lobes: upper one, superior lobe, then middle lobe, and the inferior lobe. And here there are two fissures. This is the horizontal in shape, so that's why we call it horizontal fissure, and this is oblique in shape, then we call it oblique fissure, right? This is about the external feature of the lung. So the left side is divided into two parts by two lobes are there, superior and the inferior, and the right side there are three lobes, superior, middle, and the inferior lobe. Next, about the larynx. Your larynx, that is your organ which is also known as a voice box, is comprised of 9 cartilages. Okay, these 9 cartilages are paired as well as unpaired. So unpaired cartilages are 3. They are the epiglottis, then thyroid, and then the cricoid. These 3 are the unpaired cartilages. Okay, and the paired cartilages are also 3. They are arytenoid, corniculate, and cuneiform. These 3 are paired. So remember, one question can come from this also, that how many cartilages are present in your larynx and which one is paired and which one are unpaired. So this is about human respiratory system.